Conversations in the South Office.
We're getting better at that.
We are. Hey, Craig, how you doing?
Great. How you doing today, Lisa?
I'm pretty good. I can't wait for spring.
It's
I'm
coming.
So excited.
It's sunny outside right now, so it is coming.
I know. The daylight savings change is like March 8th.
That messes some people up so bad it has no effect on me whatsoever. 1 hour here, 1 hour there, no effect.
I like the extra time in the evening.
Yeah. I like the extra hour of sleep when it happens that way.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you listened to our last podcast, which can be found on Spotify, right, Lisa?
Yeah, you can find it under Conversations in the South Office. Easy as that.
And the last conversation was with Mike Hogan Jr. and Greg Byron, a couple of our sales agents from Chicago. And this time around, we're going to do a very similar platform. We're going to touch on a couple of hot topics and also have an agent, one of our highest ranking agents from Omaha, Nebraska here, Doug Coughlin.
That'll be fun. He's a character.
Yes, he is. A couple of current events going on right now that we might touch base on. Two of them actually tied together to some degree. First one is ConExpo, ConAg show coming up in Las Vegas. It is the biggest trade show in North America, and it only happens every 3 years, and Airways is the official international and domestic freight carrier, so that's a huge event for Airways.
That's great.
Yeah, over 2,000 exhibitors representing all kinds of products. It specializes in heavy equipment, construction, asphalt, hauling equipment, earth moving equipment. It's a spectacle to see, and we're going to be there. And I've been to this event before, and there are some awe-inspiring pieces of equipment there. A lot of them come from overseas. There's just a little bit of everything there, and some of it, it's amazing to think that all this equipment could get into that city and that a transportation company could make all this happen. I highly encourage anyone in the next few weeks after this event is over to look at our Facebook page. Oh, yeah. Maybe we should have some pictures of it downloaded because it will be something to witness. Speaking of international freight, there's so many international exhibitors that come to this event. Mm-hmm. It's just the current fears around the coronavirus that's going on right now. So that's wreaking havoc on a lot of different industries. So far, no, not so much on ours. I mean, I know there are events where there are international trade shows that have been postponed and or possibly canceled just due to fears of spreading the virus. And you got to think 1/3 of Airways business roughly is international business. So it does take its toll, just that uncertainty. I mean, you hear the horror stories about the cruise ships and those kind of things.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I saw an article on the news last night about wedding dress manufacturers are struggling to keep up with demand here. So people might be postponing their weddings because they can't get their dress in time. No. I don't know whether that's I guess it's the textiles maybe are coming from China, mm-hmm. or maybe the final product is coming from China, but it can wreak havoc in all kinds of industries. So the coronavirus, it is a real issue for us all to think about, and it can affect every industry out there, and it is something that is on the mind of ConExpo organizers as well.
Naturally, with ConExpo being the largest trade show and the coronavirus being right in the forefront of today's news, people are getting a little worried, but we aren't. We're not getting worried. You know why? Because they issued a statement on their website, ConExpo did. They are closely monitoring and will follow any protocols that are provided by the Centers of Disease Control, the CDC. Also, that they encourage exhibitors and attendees to take precautions and follow guidelines set by the CDC when they are on site at the show in Las Vegas.
Well, with over 2,000 exhibitors attending this event and so many of them coming from overseas, it pays for them to be cautious and just use every protocol they can to make sure that everyone is protected and that it goes off without a hitch. And again, I think after the event is over, we'll have some media on our Facebook page.
Oh, yeah, we will,
things,
yeah.
Just to show everyone
it's exciting
how it all came together.
I can't wait.
Welcome to the South Office. We're here today with Doug Coughlin, who is from Omaha, Nebraska, and he's one of our agents at Airways.
Hey, Doug, tell us a little bit about how you got introduced to Airways and how you came to be an agent here.
Yeah, I'm entering my 8th year with the company this June, and I was introduced to the company. I had known about Airways for quite a while from a distance. I always say that I admired them from afar.
Mm-hmm.
I was introduced to you guys from one of the vendors that calls on you as one of your air carriers, and he had recommended that I had come down and see what a great company this was.
And that was 8 years ago.
8 years, this last June.
Tell us a little bit about the business that you do.
Well, we primarily handle domestic transportation. We do a little bit of international. We're mostly involved in air freight, expedited trucking, and we also do quite a bit of truckload flatbeds with some of our customers.
And I've seen firsthand how you get involved in some pretty hairy things, some items that ship down the road that are of the dimension and the weight that it's pretty intense to get them moved.
Right, and I tell you, I probably couldn't be so successful in my market without the help of the specialized people that have been working with Airways Freight for many years, which is a company that doesn't have a lot of turnover.
Yeah.
A lot of knowledge in the industry.
Do you have anything particular as far as something where Airways did something just above and beyond, where we just shocked you and just surprised you with how we responded to something? Anything from over the years?
Well, you know what? I was thinking about that, and one of the things that impressed me so much about this company is I had a huge presentation with a very large client, and I had asked some of the representatives to come up and do a joint call. And not only did I have the CEO, but I had the vice president of operations and the main agent that was going to be handling the account. So as far as doing the presentation for my customer, it made me feel like we had a lot of people very interested in their account. So that was one of the things I'd never seen in this business before, that you would get from the top down.
The kind of backup,
Yeah.
basically.
Came in and did a great job and really impressed that customer to move us to the next
As a salesperson, half of your battle is to get a customer. The other half is to keep the customer, because all the time other transportation companies are trying to wiggle their way in and be involved and get some presence for that customer. So it's a constant battle to keep their retention.
And you're only as good, I always say, as your last order you did with them.
Yeah.
'Cause that's usually what they have fresh in their head. And I tell you, that's another thing with Airways is when we get a customer, we usually keep the account. I don't see too many people leave once they start working with us and see the over and
Because
above
we're awesome.
service that we offer.
So do you have any, what's the craziest thing or the biggest challenge that we ever did for you or for your customer that you could think of?
Well, I tell you, some of these bridge girders that we were doing, they can weigh 80 to 90,000 pounds, and just seeing the coordination of a shipment, how it's delivered, set up with the whole car or the escorts
permits.
and permits. These are things I would never be able to accomplish if I hadn't worked with this company.
And there are a lot of transportation companies out there that just shy away from that kind of work. It's way too involved. There's way too much risk. Too many things can go wrong.
Exactly.
And any of those things go wrong, and all of a sudden, it's a service failure, or they've lost all their profit. So we embrace that stuff, and we specialize in it.
When it comes to recruiting people, guy you guys want is number one sales guy. And it controls the freight, but he doesn't own a piece of the business.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the guys that I think can flourish with this company.
Yeah.
Because my thing was that I didn't have money for startup capital. And that's one of the things with Airways, you don't really have to have a lot of startup capital. You can
Work out of your home and
plug right in.
Yeah.
Well, that's just my thought.
Yeah, that's good recruitment material right there.
I mean, in my case, when I was at DBA, we were 75-25. So we got to keep 75 of it.
Mm-hmm.
Corporate got 25. They did absolutely nothing. They did no collection.
Mm-hmm.
They did no invoicing.
Claims.
Nothing. Oh, well, they had like maybe a claims person.
So what was your quarter of it going to pay them for? What were they getting for their 20%?
Basically, how we looked at it was there was the ones that had the 7L. They had all the discounts with Forward Air and, the consortium.
Yeah.
paying that bulk bill kind of thing.
So kind of like the franchise name.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
And they got absolutely nothing. When I try to sell somebody, you're not getting anything with 25%. I don't think you're getting. Airways has everything else to offer, but you think, oh, I got to give up 25 more points. They're doing a lot for that additional.
The support network is
it's huge
to allow you to get out and sell.
Yeah, because look at how many more people you'd have to employ to handle that whole function. It's just not a lot of people can afford. And
for your 50%, you're controlling everything. You can be as involved or uninvolved in the operations that you want to be. You want to just sell it and steer the opportunity to us and step out of the picture. A lot of agents do that. You want to stay involved and make decisions and be involved in the routing and be knee deep in the mess, and you can do that too. It's your decision.
It was really great talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
I'm glad that
Thanks.
you're here visiting us.
Thanks for the invite.
We're glad to have you as an agent, and hope it goes on for years and years.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Well, that's it for today's podcast edition of Conversations in the South Office. Feel free to visit our website at www.airwaysfreight.com to find out more about Airways Freight and how you too could become an Airways sales agent. Thanks for listening.